Good afternoon, everyone. It is Wednesday, December 7th, 2024, 4:15 p.m. And I would like to welcome everyone and bring this meeting of the City of Merrill Park and Recreation Commission to order. Nice to see everyone again after a 1 month off for the holiday break. We'll go right into our agenda. It's not too lengthy, but we'll just go right at it. So the first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes from, it must have been November. December?
December 6th.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the December 6th meeting. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved as submitted. Agenda item number 2, approve the claims. We have 2 sets of claims, being that we didn't meet last month, so we will start with the December claims, which are 2 pages, front and back. Any questions on page 1 of the December claims? Are there any questions on page 2, the back page of the December claims?
Pickleball courts. Is that the city cost, or does that go back to the?
That's all from the Bierman grant.
Okay.
Any other questions on the December claims? If there are none, I entertain a motion to approve December's claims.
I'll make a motion to accept December's claims
I'll second that.
as presented.
We have a motion and a second to approve December's claims. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? December claims are approved. Then we'll move on to our January claims. Any questions on the first page of January claims? I had one question, Dan, about a third of the way down there. Brewers bus trip, summer 2024. Is that a deposit on the bus?
That's our donation to in the hopes that we sign a third baseman.
Okay. You think that'll help?
Yes, I do. Yeah, that's our summer bus trip. We got to put down money for bus and tickets and other stuff like that, and then knock on wood, so far I think we've sold out everyone that we've done.
Well, that's
so-
been, yeah, a big.
Yeah, but we have the cost up front that we
Yeah.
have.
Okay. Any questions on page 2 of the claims? Back page. There are no further questions on January claims. I'd entertain a motion to approve the claims as submitted.
I'll make a motion to accept the claims for January.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve January's claims. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? January's claims are approved. Agenda item number 3, public comment. No comment from the public at this time. Then we'll move on to the next agenda item, review and update the 5-year capital plan. I think everyone should have gotten a review here in our packet of information on the 5-year capital projects. Dan, anything you'd like to highlight, or what would you like us to?
When I was going over this one more time, you could scratch, there are key fobs that Smith Center's put on there twice. I don't know if anybody caught that one, but you can scratch one of those off. That's my mistake. But otherwise, I tried to, we have this discussion every year on our 5-year, and it's obviously a moving target all the time. I've been trying to, from a city council standpoint, this year I put in parentheses repeat requests. I understand that, you know, even this existing list right here, the odds of us getting half of them are probably slim, but, you know, I think it's, even if it may frustrate some, it just shows the running tally of, you know, if we don't get some things done, that the again, they don't go away. That it doesn't mean that they don't need to be replaced or redone or purchased or whatever, what have you. But it needs to be shown that they're still there. So, and before we come up with a final list in August or September, we can use this and consider this. I don't know if anybody has any questions. There was a few that jumped kind of towards back onto this list, and the fobs are one of them at the Smith Center. It'd be nice. We have keys in different groups and organizations. Instead of always trying to have to organize things, it would be nice to have fobs so that we can program. If youth hockey is allotted one, we know who has it or who it's signed out to. If somebody is in the building, we know who it is, when they were in, when they left, etc. And we can program our different doors accordingly. That is a rough estimate. Is it this week? Tomorrow? Either tomorrow or next Thursday, I forget which one. Permar is coming out with IT Dustin to look at our facilities and get a closer idea, because they do have those wired closets that they have to install. That it's like a 8-door or 12-door fob setup that they have to put in. So keypad locks on shelters is one that is moving towards the front. We've gone with the convenience of online registration for our park shelters and facilities. I would like to try and make it even more convenient for people, because the way that it is right now, if you reserve a park shelter, you have the convenience of doing it at home online, but then you still have to come out by us and get a key and then return the key. This way, if we do it like you would an Airbnb or VRBO or something like that, we can send them a message, or as part of their email leading up to it, your key code is 256-1184. Same with yours, whoever else has it. That way they get there and they just key in, open up, and just lock when they're done. No need to run from wherever they are to pick up keys or drop keys off or lose keys.
So they change between people, or?
What we would probably do is just per weekend. So if you had Agra Pavilion on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you three would get a message that says, whatever the key code is, and you have this. It's the same as giving them the same key. It's the same key that all three of you get. You just know that you have it Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, and then once they're done, then we just have to reprogram it for the next set of events or the following weekend. So, but either way, it's still it's a convenience, and I think from a security standpoint too. Again, if we do lose a key, you don't have to worry about losing keys or replacing keys or making key copies and other things. Are people pirating keys? So that's a new one on there. Yeah, and then like you said, if anybody has questions, a lot of this stuff was fairly similar. I bumped a few things that were funded, added a few other things in there for the subsequent years. And these may change if we do find something, a pickup truck or a playground or something that is aging a little more quickly, or something that starts to break down and is becoming a maintenance nightmare for us. Something that we may have thought we were going to forecast for 2028 may have to slide to 2026 and vice versa.
I'm confused about the numbers. I haven't seen one of these for like the beginning of the year before, but why are the priority ones at the bottom if the numbers are out here? How do you?
So don't look at those. I should just erase that until
Okay.
we get to the end of the year. They wanted priority, just priority on them, like a 1 or 2 or 3. 1 being very important, 2 being not quite as much but important, and 3, etc. So when we put the design here from Park and Rec Commission, I always put 1 on them, because if we're asking for it, it's important. And usually what I had found, he had the camera rolling, is you put 2s on them, and then in a lot of the council's eyes, it was throw it. So last year and the year before, I think it was, so when we get to our actual capital request, and if you recall from last fall when we did this, the priority order, then we'll have a discussion at the commission level, which one, if is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We just did it in order like that. As we get down, I can't tell you which one's a 1, 2, or a 3.
So these are just important things at the bottom?
Scratch these, yeah,
Okay.
those numbers, you can scratch them out, because I don't know, nobody knows if, install lights on Marc trails is going to be a 2, a 1, erased, gone, if people really want it or don't want it. But it's, I don't know, categorically, I think we could just probably erase it, to be honest with you. The most important one, though, is when we get to August, September, and want to turn this 2025 request, final request in, that we put it in order, so that we hopefully can, if it's 1, this is the most important, the second most important, the third most important. It's still 2 or 3 years in a row where we've had them categorized here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, and they take 1, 2, 3, and 5, or skip 1. Don't know why, but we'll take whatever we can get, I guess.
I guess I'm just curious, maybe you'd have to talk to Rod or someone about this, but is there like a security fund for funding those types of projects? Excuse me, like just out separate from Park and Rec, just like a general fund for like security upgrades or something?
To my knowledge, there is not.
Okay.
I know that when they did all the bulletproof stuff and that upstairs, that was a number of years ago, they used, let's say FEMA funds, I think it was, where there was a few places that had some unfortunate events with the tax on municipal workers and office workers, so they gobbled that up to do their thing up there. But
Yeah, I guess, just curious, because it seems like something that shouldn't necessarily come out of our capital project fund, because it's
yeah,
general security upgrade.
yeah.
But I understand how it is how it is. One other thing, I guess, I wouldn't mind seeing the refurbish Stangs 2 Arch Bridge being a little closer to the near future, but yeah, just because I know it's a pretty significant piece of our history, so.
Yeah, we refurbished it, I think it was now almost 15 years ago, but sometimes just trying to, they come through and they wash it, treat the cement,
Yeah.
the underside, and then this last time they did the decking with that light cobble finish on it, so. Yeah, we can slide it up.
Yeah. I guess I'm curious how the footings of that have survived over the years.
We had those inspected and tested, and they were still good.
Okay.
And that's one of the nice things about having something that's built in 1908, was it? Is they use real stuff.
I saw Joan on, were you on the commission then? Because we were pretty sure it had been neglected for a long
Right.
time.
Yeah.
Like it was going to be done, and they came back and it's in amazingly great shape. Structurally, it was amazing. It had the surface problems, but
That's just
Okay.
weathering for 100+ years. But yeah, the stuff that was still underground, they had probes and other things that they went in there with. And I was with the guy when he did it too, and he said, "Holy smokes!"
How long was that?
I think we did that in, was it 08?
could be.
Somewhere around there. I never remember the year.
Doesn't seem that long ago, but it probably was.
Yeah.
It was more than a decade ago, I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so 2 Arch, I mean, Kyle, you wanna, this is a living, breathing document, so maybe we can slide that up to 27, 26?
Yeah, that would be fine.
Which one?
Why not 26, I guess?
Do they have recommendations on how often it should be evaluated for its?
They said 15 to 20 years, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Because it hadn't been touched. I don't know that it had been touched.
Right, prior to the last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're probably just a little bit ahead of that, but it's always, it'll be cheaper if we do it this way, because then it ends up being just not routine maintenance, but close to routine maintenance, where they can come through and they can do they had some kind of a solvent that they used that was okay for water and the fisheries and everything underneath it, and then they had a sealant that they put on it, the parapets and the decking and all that stuff, so, you know, we can make it more routine if we do it more often. Less of a massive undertaking if we wait 100 years.
I guess, maybe if there would be some sort of grant potential for that too, just because it is a piece of history. Maybe the Historical Preservation Committee would be interested in helping with that.
I did try a few grants the first time we did this unsuccessfully. And it's categorized as a local historic, but not a like a state or a national historic landmark. And we've had this discussion here before. It probably would qualify just because of its uniqueness, but when you do things like that with especially park structures, then in order for us to redo this, then we, even though it's our bridge on our property, we have the right to both of the state and federal historic registers, and they have to approve what you want to do, how you want to do it, who does it, how they do it, what they use. So, and there are certain applications of that where it is helpful, but I think when we had that discussion here, it was that's the quickest way to turn a $10,000 project into 50.
Right. Yeah. Pros and cons.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Any other, yeah.
Are there any thoughts of lights at the Marc for softball?
We can add that too. That was on our tenure. That was a little bit further out, but
Because I know, we're adding another league, I guess, with this Legion League that they started up a softball league for Legion, like kind of like baseball is. And they want you to play double headers, which it's tough to start at
They have lights.
5 o'clock right now we're gonna start at 5:30, I think is the plan, but, that's just one of them. With our tournament too, I run out, right now we're at 49 teams. We had lights, I probably could add it up to, depending on how many fields you did, you could add 3-4 games a night, probably 3, I think it is, comes out to be, I think you can add. But the last one would be at 9, but if we'd have enough teams to just bring more people to the community. And same with that Legion, that's gonna be a traveling, so it'll be all people out of the Merrill area. It'll just be, I know you'd probably be looking for help from other places, but they're not cheap.
yeah, it's $175,000 endeavor. But it's it's been on it's on the 10-year one for sure, and we have discussed that in the past. So yeah, we can add it on there.
I think it's long overdue.
Well,
Yeah. The boys have had athletic lights forever,
yeah.
and we have had odds, but everything moved out, it's long overdue.
Yeah, because right now, if you look at it, it's the only sport played in town that doesn't have lights. Tennis, basketball, baseball, soccer doesn't, but, soccer gets played in high school, but
Yeah.
But
And
that's
odds-
kind of the only thing that.
That's why there was lights put in when they did odds in the 70s was
Yeah.
for softball, but yeah, and obviously.
No, that time it's all hardball now too, isn't it? Odds.
Well, it's set up for either or.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I guess, is there anything else that Streeter Square needs that we should maybe ask for with this, since it's kind of we have 2 items on there?
They need a splash pad?
Water feature?
I still think that would be fantastic for Merrill.
It's a great location, yeah.
That's a super location.
Where is Acre Square?
Streeter Square.
Streeter Square.
Streeter Square.
Square.
Did you have something that wants to fund it too?
Yeah.
I think Tomahawk's putting in a big one.
Are they?
I'm gonna go check it out this summer.
They don't have.
Thinking about
With all my
moving,
babies, yeah. Right.
They're fantastic, they're popular.
They are
Very.
popular.
Very. They can be putsy too. I work for you guys.
Any more on ARPA use funds for construction of the shelter at the forest? Do you hear anything more from Mr. Bowden at all?
Yeah, I'll get into that for director's report, but so I talked to Renee, and it sounds like they're gonna have some decisions in March, so.
Oh, it incorporates those underdown and city boards.
Yep, the requests that we sent along, I think.
Because it seems like that's really starting to pick up speed with the Iron Bowl and some of that other stuff.
Yep, absolutely. Dean and I are running into the snags that we figured that we would from Uncle DNR on some wetland delineation and stuff that we feel is not, and they want us to do a few things, so we're gonna end up having to do a few things for the
Got
bridge.
some, what, endangered plants or something, or
They just,
species?
they think it's wetland where we're gonna place it, and it is not. It was a long time ago, but it no longer is. So, but yeah, hopefully in March, we'll have more definitive answers on some of those things, so we can actually move, because the number of those are kind of at the point where you can't do much unless we're gonna have some funding here.
Kayak rental, anything new on that?
All still with, you mean with the ARPA?
Yeah. Well, have a facility to rent.
Oh,
Of
yeah,
the kayak.
that second page I just put on there
For ideas?
as something to consider, yep.
That guy that owns Joking Joe's, he's running unopposed, right? Is that the same guy? Maybe he would put one in. It wouldn't be a bad spot.
It's a perfect spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something, I mean, some of these things there are entrepreneurial opportunities abound if people want to do it. The kayak rental is one of them. There are some park and rec departments that do them. There's the automated ones, they get a little spendy at first, they have, credit card swipe and time in, time out, and other stuff like that.
Does Wes have that?
I think
And
they
Point, down Point, is it Patrick Cartman? Doesn't he have a business that does that as well?
Yes.
From Merrill,
Yep.
really?
Yeah, they have.
That could be great.
Technology's come a long ways. You have to have insurance and other things that go on them and with them, and people have like a digital signature that they have to provide before they do it. But yeah, there are places now that do sell those kayak kiosks, just like the bike rental places do.
How would that work on there? I mean, your thoughts on the river? People want to come back upstream? Is it too bad, or?
They gotta figure it out on their own.
You know what I mean, though? Because I know, the only reason I ask is me and Renee, we were talking about it, and I said, well, people are really gonna want, you're gonna have one downstream where you can drop it off, and then, you guys would, in the next day, bring them all back? Or just people normally on a river? I see it on a lake, or you see where there's not so much current.
Because those people might not have a truck, and that's why they're renting one too.
Yeah.
So
So
did-
that makes sense.
There'd have to be a drop off, because, you don't see
I don't
them
know.
come up river.
I don't know, I don't think the current's too bad there.
The trick would be, if somebody said, here's $50,000, do this tomorrow, I would ask WPS if we could use where they tore down one of those buildings closer to the dam, so that you're on either side. If you wanna rent a kayak and go down towards Brokaw, you can do that. And as far as the retrieval, that's something that they have to figure out. But it also allows you to go on the upper side of the dam and go up towards council grounds. It's in the middle, and you can do either side of the impoundment. That's what I would do. Because I think council grounds rents canoes and kayaks. So that part you could do if you wanna go on Lake Alexander, but at least those next two segments you could handle from there. And you,
It's too bad too that you couldn't rent from Merrill, take it all the way down to Wausau. I don't know who runs Wausau, is it the city of Wausau or?
they have their own there.
But I mean, if you
That would be
had some
cool.
kind of joint.
Remember, you can
Kinda.
return them there, like pick them up here and drop them off there.
I don't know.
Yep, and we can do anything we want to. It's, until we get it, that would be something you'd have to figure out.
We were talking about doing that with the trail system and that too, that we work more closely with Marathon,
Yeah.
Lincoln County to try to.
Absolutely, yeah. But that, if you're gonna do something like that, honestly, the cheapest way to do it would probably be use one of the park trucks that we have. You only need a half ton or less. Get a trailer, something that's got the racks on it, strap them down, pay somebody $15 an hour to drive down there once a day or whenever is necessary, bring them back, reload them, and away you go. There's plenty of people that I'd do it. Kind of easy money, just take a trip down to Wausau, put the kayaks on the rack, strap them down, drive them back.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
So are we going to, we will finalize this like September-ish, August, September, or when do we need it?
Yeah, so normally, the last few years, August will bring it back to the 2025 one.
Is this something we'll revisit again once between now and August or not? Or is it,
We can revisit it as much as you guys want.
what is the commission, or do you just want us to take this home and think about it and just give you feedback? Or do you wanna, does anyone have a feeling as far as just doing it that way versus an agenda item in May, say, or something like that?
It's up to you if you want it. We can put this back on in March and just kind of clean it up a little bit more, and then, because this doesn't need to be approved necessarily. We just have used this in the past number of years just kind of as, here's some ideas so that we all make sure that.
Come August, I like the idea of having it in March. I'll give everyone a month to think about it. Is that okay? And then we can add or delete or rearrange and then have it ready to go. Okay. Anything else on 5-year capital projects?
How hard would it be to add 2024s on there? What we got approved?
Just get a list of that?
You
Is that
know,
what you're asking for?
You know what I mean? Yeah, so that, like it'd be a difference, 2024, and just so that we know what got them. It's all right, I know, that's what I mean, that's why kind of, we can compare it to what you want to do,
Yeah,
the 5-year plan.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that. I think I had that in one of the other packets.
If it's too hard, I mean, it's no big deal.
No, it doesn't.
I just thought it'd be kind of nice to look what we got approved and.
Yep.
Just take up that priority
I guess I would say, one, I forgot about this one on the back, the connection from Prairie Trails to City Forest, I feel like is another quite important one. There's not much the city can do necessarily, as I understand it, but maybe, yeah, I feel like that's a significant one that we should be looking at too, because.
So that one came up when I was at the county talking to Renee and Dean and Mike and them, and we have talked about that. There are some state initiatives that may help that one along.
Okay.
It was just discussion with 4 or 5 people sitting here.
ARPA anywhere or no? Not on that one.
That one probably, we're not quite ready to do that yet.
Nothing on the books on that yet.
No, but that's a longer connection, but there is, I can't remember the program, that it's not a city program, but it's something that counties and townships can do. I can't remember what the term that they use, but I know that they're looking at that so to help with that connection.
Yeah, I would just mention that the Ice Age Trail Alliance would maybe be another resource to look into for that, since that would be connecting us into the trail a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else on this one before we move on?
So do you want me to bump that one into?
It doesn't have to be on the list, because I don't really know, you know, how that would even work, I guess, but whatever you think is
Okay.
best for that, I
I'll-
suppose.
We'll slot this in here somewhere. Like I said, it doesn't hurt to.
Yeah, I don't know what the dollar amount for that would be or anything like that, but
Yeah, it's.
unknown.
Yeah, it'd be signage, it actually would not be that much, because it's on road,
Right.
and I wouldn't, under no circumstances, go to R. That would be one where we would take, like, is it Black Alder Road? It's dirt road, but that's more, not more scenic, but it's less traveled.
Mhm.
You don't have all of the stuff that spills off of everybody's truck, trailer, and garbage truck on Highway R.
Mhm.
And I wouldn't want people biking on that.
All right, anything else? Very good, thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
Agenda item number 5, the citizens' request for the Wall of Hope in or near the Agra Pavilion. There is a handwritten proposal here. Everyone found it in your packet. Might be, mine was one down. It was not the next one in order. It was the following. There it is. Dan, so you can give us a little background and
Okay, I was contacted late fall by Pam here, who via phone first, and just had some ideas and wanted to bounce some things off of me, and I think it was, I don't think, but it was kind of in regards to the death of the 2 teens up near Harrison, their parish. And we discussed a number of different things. I don't know that she even knew what she wanted at first, but I said, well, you know, just let us know what you're thinking, and if you can, just come up with some kind of a proposal so that I could bring it here. So then we had talked a few other times, and she brought this in here just a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, as you can see from her proposal here, she wants like almost like a mausoleum type looking structure somewhere near the Agra Pavilion Rotary Park area, as a lasting monument to those 2, and then I think just a hope for others. So she said she would be willing to raise money for this and oversee certain things. So I have a couple of thoughts on this. First off, we have a lot of things in and around the Agra area, the Rotary Park area, between the TV Scott Tower and fishing pier overlook the actual thing itself, the fire pit, the driveway that goes in between it. We really actually don't have that much property to put anything else in without it becoming, I don't know, too busy. I think it's borderline too busy right now. I know on the proposal that she had too, or another public area. These are just my personal, professional thoughts, but I was hoping that she was going to draw this out, and I don't, because I think I know what she's looking at doing, but this to me almost seems like something that would be more powerful or beneficial in a cemetery type setting. It really does. And again, it's difficult to talk about this because it's a sad story with a tragic ending. But now if we do something like this, unfortunately, the way that life is, we're going to have other things like this. So how do we, then you guys, categorize and approve or disapprove different memorials. We're really good at, here at Park and Rec, we handle memorials all the time. We're really good at it, but what we do is we channel that into bleachers and, working with the Grueling family right now on possibly a new playground down at the Agra Pavilion, which is something that we've discussed here before. Benches and things for athletic fields, things for trees and other things like that. I love where her heart's at. I don't know that this has been racking my brain now for a couple of months trying to figure out how would this look, how does it fit, and what would it look like? Where would you put it where it fits?
Cenotaph Park, that is pretty, there really isn't much space there at all anymore.
Then there's
Is there?
a war monument there, and they have the trees. That was kind of designated for that purpose with the Veterans Memorial on there. If you put something else on there, I don't know the etiquette on that, but is that disrespectful?
And there probably really isn't that much room, as I'm trying to visualize it now.
It's not a ton. I mean, it's just that grassy area as you
Yeah.
come out towards Grand. But that was just my initial gut reaction. I just let it sit for a little bit, and it just personally, it's still my gut feeling is I just don't know. I don't know how we deal with that in a park, as a Park and Rec Department and Commission.
Is there a reason why she thought of near the Agra Pavilion? Is there a connection or relationship?
She
Do you know
just
what I
liked
mean?
the spot.
Yeah.
Yep,
she
I
just-
don't think that there wasn't any real personal significance or an emotional
Okay.
significance. Part of the reason why it's a neat spot. I mean, you have the river flowing through there, and it's a neat location right in the middle of town. And it's high visibility, which is another popular reason for people to want things there because of the amount of people that visit that area.
Could you put it beyond the pavers that are already there, the fundraising pavers, or is that not our property because the railroad's right behind that?
You could, it would go, it would go right up to the elevated
Main?
planting beds and all
Okay.
that. So and the railroad right of way actually cuts into those berms that we have planted, because they have 50 feet on either side of the tracks. So,
I see your point too, you don't want to get it looking too cluttered down there either with a bunch of things, but
yeah,
that
it's
would be
jammed.
back further, I don't
Yeah.
know.
And like I said, the other part is, we have to anticipate and know this isn't an assumption, it's a guarantee that it will not be long, and then we'll have, hey, we want to do something, a wall in honor of,
I like the idea of, I don't know if you'd call it like a meditation area or a quiet spot, but not necessarily in memory of a specific or a few specific people, but that's
I
just
agree with
kind
the
of a
specific
neat.
people.
Yeah, that's kind of a neat idea of just a reflective area, and it's beautiful. But there too, that would take planning
Well,
to think of a spot
was there-
that isn't necessary.
Like, I'm not seeing it here, I don't see any, like that was, she wrote down maybe her purpose, but then she, somewhere too, that,
Right, a community.
yeah,
kind of-
in general,
Yeah,
like what
it's-
you're talking about, like going to what you're saying, I would say you're setting a precedent, because I hate that, because I don't think there really is such a thing exactly, but, well, maybe if there were future events, then we say we already have a area of remembrance or area, whatever you would call it, in place. That, I don't know, is there any, because I don't see anything about a plaque here specific, but maybe she talked to you about that, specifically stating that. But I also agree that location is busy.
Yeah.
It's busy already, so then I think if we would go that route, because maybe a public green space or park could have that somewhere, but then the question would be where.
Well, and there's the Tyler's playground
Yeah.
area
Right.
down the way, but now that's out of the public eye. We've had buckets full of issues down there with vandalism and people, more so people bringing things there,
Right.
their own garbage and calling it ours. You know, we had the garbage truck down there 6, 8 times last year with people's stuff that had a special purpose, which was basically overflow garbage. Yeah, there are places that you probably could do it, but it's just, that I think then would be slightly beyond this discussion too, you know, structure masonry with rock surface, where did it, inviting public for some rock placements for healing, hope, and connectedness. I don't want many free flowing rocks around, because those end up through windows in our end of the world. Or somebody puts a special rock there and then somebody takes a special rock that was placed there and then it's our fault. You know, again, Joan might be on the right track there. If we're gonna do something, then we do something that's just, with some planning and some other, whether it's a wishing well kind of a thing or something like that in a location that, yeah.
And really all of the benches, that's what you do when you sit there and you just pause and look over the river. You are just reflecting and enjoying that moment. But
What did Church Mutual do for Mike on the other end of the trail? Was that just a bench? Because that was supposed to be some kind of.
Bench and a couple of trees.
Is that what it was? Okay.
which fits that common memorials. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we don't have to decide at this moment. I would start, we discuss and this may end up being something too that, and I'll talk with her here yet tomorrow or the next day or whatever, but it might be something where, I can encourage her if she is really set on doing something like this, exactly like this might be something for, have a discussion with us at the cemetery, and then, if this is something that we want to get into, or just a little serenity area, we can do something like that, but it's just a quiet place. It's nameless, it's sponsorless, it's,
Right.
I don't know.
So what is she looking at? No, there's possibility. She's looking like something almost like the Vietnam wall that you can add to, or what? You know what I mean?
Well, and so
I don't. It doesn't make. I'm kind of lost what she's looking to
Yeah, I think
do.
it's, maybe a little
You
more
know,
clarification.
Say, I could say, okay, I want to put a brick in there with my mom's name, or something like that, or I guess I don't understand what she's looking for here.
Yeah, so when I've talked to her, it was initially yes, and then I said, well, what do you do then if and when it gets to, if you have 30 bricks that are available and you do 30 of them in the first 6 months, what do you do? Well, add on. Where? Is this something that is going to extend 100 feet or 100 feet high, or if the nameplates are chiseled off, do we have to replace them, or if somebody damages them or graffitis it? So I think it then got pared down to just a wall that is the wall of hope that people can use for whatever purpose they want. They can go there.
Whatever they're hoping for.
Yeah.
Which goes to Joan's comment. I mean, I think I almost see it getting bigger. I don't know, bigger, but more thoughtful, more broad, maybe.
So how about this? Would you be all right if, let me put a little more thought into this, and we'll bring this back up next month or the month after or
When
something,
it's,
right?
yeah, when it's ready to be brought back up.
Because it might just be something that we can accomplish this, that, and everything else that is nameless, sponsorless, commercial-less, and something that would work. Maintenance-ish free for our guys too, that we don't have to.
Because what if it would get damaged and it would cost a lot of money to fix it? Like, you know, who would pay for that? Or, and I don't know that we should be taking on a financial position like that. I mean, I don't want to sound heartless.
It's one more thing to maintain, yeah.
It's kind of like the Behrman Foundation. They give us amazing things, but then we have to try to pay to maintain that, which, I mean, they're still great things, but that's a struggle. I don't know about it from that perspective.
When it comes to damage, is that something that goes under insurance?
Yeah, if it's, you know, so it depends on if it's above our deductible. You know, that's what ends up paper cutting us, is some of the stuff that we get, like graffiti. If we just get some small little taggings, we still have to go get paint. Our guys are still running there, fixing it, doing this and that. And there's so many of those things that don't meet our deductible that we just have to do. The times where we're okay because we're covered by insurance is if somebody, you know, wants to go and drop an M80 and turtle it and bust out the walls or do other things like that, then we're okay because our cost is the deductible, and then it's covered. And it's safe. We, you know, let's just say, for instance, somebody drives their vehicle through Normal Park and does a bunch of damage. We have that fixed by insurance, but it's the small stuff that gets you, especially with the amount of things that we have to do every year that are in that $100, $200, $300 range. It adds up.
Okay.
So are you guys okay with that? Maybe
Revisiting
Okay.
down the road, gather a little more information.
If you have ideas for other spots, where it could
I
go.
think
Might be a different,
for
different
me,
area.
it won't be in that area for me unless you guys really, there's so much there.
I'd like to see a corner of like Street or Square or something.
Yeah.
By the
Where
sliding
the-
path.
Take out
It would be great.
take out like the fence, because I mean the fence is getting beat up anyways.
Yeah.
Or the other corner, I mean,
Yeah, or even just, you know, a spot out on the peninsula at Stang Park or something where you've got river on both sides of you, or something that you can
Ah, there you go. Getting your son mowed.
connect with your inner self.
Like if somebody else wanted a statue of a skull or something in like 5 years, you know, would we need to do that too then if we did this? Would that be fair?
It's an F word. We don't use them.
Well,
Fair.
Oh,
That's what we told our sons growing up.
I put that in my notes too, 'cause, you know, you look at like
Yeah, we don't use
things
them
like that
in
in monuments, in, you know, how do you put it, like a special purpose, you know, or a TV Scott, or, you know, a founding person, that there should be criteria for erecting things like this.
I mean, it's a very sad story. It's a sad situation. And
No doubt about it, and that's why it's, you know, it gets to be a little, you know, difficult to talk about it, because obviously we do feel bad about it. It's just, you know, from this point moving forward, whatever, to use the precedent word. You start something, how's that?
Start something, yeah.
Start
Where does it end?
Yeah.
Because this is tasteful, but the next one might not be.
Mhm.
I mean, ultimately, we can make a decision on anything. Like, we can choose not to fund something if it's not as tasteful. So.
Yeah, or police anything too. I mean, park property is controlled by
Right.
the Senate.
That's,
Well, we wouldn't be funding this at all, right?
No,
This-
but if the Park and Rec Commission has complete say over what goes in a park,
Okay.
City Council does not.
and what stays in a park? Isn't that what you're getting to? This would be like a donation or funded,
Yep.
but 20 years down the road, it could be city property, park property, it could be, anything could be moved
Yes.
on, so.
I just thought, the only thing I thought of just now is this could replace your benches.
Mm.
You got rid of, you kind of took your memorial benches off.
Yeah.
You could maybe add, I know when you get to the damage or whatever, but, it gives you that, where you get in, okay, now we have something. We don't have to put a skull in another, here we have this now. You can make a donation and get a brick.
Yeah.
And not put another wall up somewhere else. We already have that. I mean, that's where you get away from the set the precedent,
Yeah.
we have this for you.
Yeah. Get our funding to get a bridge to connect Riverbend Trail to Riverside, pedestrian bridge.
One brick at a
A
time.
name plaques on it.
Contemplation
Bridge.
bridge.
Something,
Yeah.
Stand out,
Yeah.
stand out on top of the bridge
Take your
and
time.
That's
contemplate
that's how we
anything
do
as a waterway.
Pause.
There's something to be said about that,
It's
actually.
funding towards something.
Like,
You really
talk about a
do, yeah.
maybe
bigger,
that's something even to bring up.
bigger
there.
project
Yeah.
that keeps
You
going.
know, this is something we're looking to do, would you be
Put that
willing
on
to?
the 5-year
Because this has to be
plan.
pretty costly.
And then you could even
Like
include
like
something
this, if
artistic
it's
on either end.
decorative, you're
like
looking at
abutments.
20 grand.
And then if
There's a
somebody
good
puts
idea.
spray paint on it, or who knows
Yeah.
what could happen.
It'll happen, it's guaranteed.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
Yeah.
Sounds like some good ideas here, and you can bring it back to us when it's ready. Next agenda item is discussion. This is an exciting topic, discussion of Connector Trail Main. You had some free time the last month, Dan? Couldn't sleep some night?
Well,
or-
Kyle brought,
Oh,
had a
okay.
couple.
You can't sleep.
Dan, you had a few as well, and I left some of the other ones on there, and just kind of, I guess, brainstorm a little bit here. So, the newer ones are towards the bottom. I kind of reorganized some of the ones on top, but for the camera, Prairie River Path or Prairie River Pathway, Jenny Bull Falls, and some of these were just brainstorm things, but obviously the name of Merrill before it was Merrill. River Rat Idea, something related to River Rat.
I love that one.
Pinery Path, Andrew Warren Way, 1883, which would, now looking at it, would pirate the TV show, which is fantastic, but that's when we officially became the city of Merrill. Prairie Trail, which would confuse us, but it is a trail along the prairie. Prairie Bend, which is a combination of Prairie Trail and River Bend. Tributary Trail, Loggers Lane, T.B. Scott, S.S. Merrill, A.H. Stang, Heritage Trail. I think we are now on the Dr. Dan Novich, Brook Trout Boulevard, Prairie Pathway, Two River Trail. Oh, I threw these in. Trail of Two Rivers. Little literary reference for you. Ted's Trail, I threw this one in there too. Obviously named after longtime chairperson Ted Nickel. This trail was one of Ted's suggestions way back when I first started. Parkway Path, City Trail, Lumber Lane, Athletic Park Path, Cutback Trail. We're now into the Commissioner Galkey ideas. Sandpoint Pass, Sandbar Shortcut, Logjam Trail, River Valley Route, Strath Path, Watershed Way, Angler Avenue, Fly Fishing Trail, Kingfisher Path, Osprey Trail, Alluvium Alley. So just some more things to stimulate the mind and the creativity.
Yeah, I just Googled river geology terms pretty much.
Yeah, he had some good ones. I did look up Strath.
Yeah.
That was the one
Mhm.
I was a little unsure of, but it's a good way. It's important to flex that vocabulary every once in a while.
Yeah, I learned some new ones, so.
Some of those, yeah, some of the things might be neat interpretive signs at some point to have along the way, because they're not all gonna make the top.
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody has any strong thoughts, one way or the other, or narrow them down, or, I mean, this is no hurry, I just wanted to start. Like I said,
I
there.
thought about combining a couple and calling it the River Rats Prairie River Pathway. Some long big
Some
River
long-
Rats Prairie River.
Tongue
Because I like
twister.
the idea
Yeah.
because we have the river rat there at kind of at the one end of it, incorporating that.
River Rats.
Might be too long.
R PRP.
RPRP.
I just circled Prairie River Pathway, I thought that would be,
I like that prairie pathway.
you know, it's mainly covering the Prairie River.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you guys if you wanna.
Yeah, I like Tributary Trail just because it's something different that won't be as confusing necessarily that way, but.
Okay.
I do like Brook Trout Boulevard too. I like that one.
I know which one. Well, here, let's do this, because otherwise are you okay with independently, we have this on the next one too, or April, whenever you want, but pick out your top 5.
Could be a lot.
How about top 3?
Top three?
Top
3 or 5, I was
Top
thinking.
3 or 2, I would
I
say.
don't wanna go past one hand,
Mhm.
because then we got top 3.
Why don't each pick a top 3 and see if there's any commonality?
Okay,
Top 3?
Yeah.
Do you want us to send that to you?
if you don't mind, yeah, if you wanna email those to me, and then I will, we'll compile a list for the next meeting. And then if we,
That's a good way to do it. We could sit around this table for a long time.
Right.
yeah.
Good idea, Dan.
Yeah.
Starting to
Then we
get hungry. So, okay, so I've been warm with that and email it to Dan by the first of March?
when would we?
No,
have
that's
packets?
not enough time, is it?
If we can, like the Wednesday before, because normally,
How about February 20th?
yeah. Because
Okay.
we will send,
No later than February 20th.
yeah, because we'll have to send packets out, our next meeting will be the 6th. We'll have to send packets out the 28th or 29th. Well, we could go, if you wanted by the 27th.
That's good enough.
And no new ones. Stick to this list.
Yes. Well, because we're never gonna get commonality,
Because then-
like,
No.
Right, because then
Yeah,
nobody
yeah.
else will.
Unless we
know
emailed
it.
everyone and said, how about this one?
that goes on
And
forever.
I can't say mine.
It's what social media is for.
Eh,
Stuff that just goes on and on.
I was gonna say Ted's Prairie River Trail.
But you can add it now, right?
Yeah, you can now.
I don't have any right now, no.
How about Ted's Prairie River Trail?
Yeah. We'll edit that one. There. Okay. Yeah, so if you guys are okay with that, then we can compile a list and.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Agenda item number 7, monthly reports. Thank you very much, Dan, for your informative, well-written report. Any items you'd like to highlight?
Does anybody have any questions? Let's start with those.
No skating rinks this winter?
We were about a week.
5 days, something like that?
It was
Oh my gosh,
just
it feels like
not quite a week, yeah.
No.
So, obviously, the weather was not conducive
Right.
to making ice, and then, not knowing what it was actually gonna do. When we had that cold snap, just before that started, it was cold enough for us. For us, it's gotta be about 17 degrees in order to do it. So leading up to that, we started making ice or laying water, and that week when it was really cold, I mean, when we can really do it fast. So we got them all done, set up, and we had some kids that were skating on it, and then, it went from
And summer came.
minus 30 to 50 in short order, and it when the sun, we can handle 30 degrees, 30, 35, as long as it's not sunny, and when you start getting towards the end of January, early February, that sun angle just has a different effect on the ice. It starts to bubble, or get those boils on them, and then if they were, yeah, and we won't do them even if we get a little bit of a elongated stretch of 20 degrees. Just the next sunny day that we get from mid-February on just hits it different, and then it's a waste of money, the taxpayer dollars on our part. So, yeah, for us, if we don't have a good enough base built up and we don't have 52s, we can let them coast for a while, but that's hard to survive
Crazy.
that. Yeah. To get to Mr. Wykes' discussion from before, yeah, I did talk, like I said, with the county, and it sounds like they are reviewing the ARPA requests that they had in March, from what I gather. That's what she said. And then we should find out then from, Map It and all the other things that we had if we're green lighted. I did talk to the Map It people, was it early this week? Monday, I think it was, and they're still okay. Whenever we find out, then we'll do agreements with them and get to work. It's from that point on, it's just a lot of data collection and things from our GIS people and IT. Those are things that get a little beyond my skis, but we'll be involved by making sure that we have park things and park amenities and what connects what to what and how it's described, and then we'll work our way up. And work with Tomahawk and Chambers, Harrison. It's meant to be an all-encompassing thing. So, let's see what else. I think I did get into the bridge thing. The county they have somebody that is trained in actual wetland ID, and they went out there and dug some test pits and other things like that, and then we shared those results with the DNR before, during, and after we had that phone meeting that we had, and when we were physically talking to them, both Dean and I thought that we were okay, and then they kick it this way and kick it that way, and now I think they want a wetland delineation. So we are applying for them to not do that, trying to not go over their head on this, because I honestly, and I can say it even with the cameras going, and stuff like that drives you nuts, and there is a reason why it gets difficult to do certain things. So even if we have to go over their head a little bit, we may, but we'll see. We do have to work with them. They are our partners on a lot of different things, but in the interest of just straight up transparency and getting things done, it does become difficult. Once that, if and when that is cleared up, then we can go to work on getting the road cleared and getting custom manufacturing or whoever they choose to connect. But the rest of everything else in that discussion was fantastic. They love the idea. They love the connectivity of Prairie Dells to City Forest to Underdown to Ice Age Trail to everything. It's a home run for them, but
It'll get figured out.
yep. Yeah. So otherwise, yeah. ice time getting short here, surprisingly, we're already ending the first week of February, so we got just a little bit, about a month left of ice, and then we start taking that out, getting ready for dry floor stuff, and I guess from this point on too, for us, it's up to the weather to see how our spring goes. That's always the biggest iffiness that we have moving towards the summer season, is how much time are we gonna have to actually do things. It's been good for, like I said, for our guys. We've been able to do more tree pruning than we've ever been able to do in our parks, which is good, because a lot of the stuff that we do in the parks is training, pruning, and routine maintenance type things, and so it's been good for getting things done. So,
Okay.
any other questions, comments, concerns?
How's recruitment going? I see you guys, did you start yet or just starting to talk about it?
So far, so good. I know Dawn sent all her stuff out to like the rec people and some pool people. I think we're fairly good. What, like 3 guards down from last year, but we can. Is that what it was? 3 or 4? 3 or 4. Yeah. Buildings and maintenance. I think we were still waiting on a couple. 2 of our 3 that are not quite sure yet if they're going to stay at college or come back yet. So, yeah, but we're, as compared to not last year but the year before, we're in a good position right now.
Summer playground, still planning that this summer with the issues last year? Okay.
Yes. Yep. We're gonna see how it goes, and I don't know, Dawn and I have been talking about this a bunch too. It's just, and we did this last year, and I think for a lot of people, it was a shock to them just because of some of the parameters that maybe they don't normally get. But we'll do the same thing we did last year. Here's your expectations, you signed it, we'll make sure that we point out to them that this is what you're signing, why you're signing it, and what the consequences are for not following it. So don't be all that upset if it does happen. Just a matter of being diligent and starting on day one. If rules are broken, the right ones, this is what this equals, and this and this.
Good.
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay. Set a date for the next meeting. The first Monday in March is,
As I just said, the
or
6th.
first Wednesday, let's say
Sixth.
Monday, first Monday, March is 6th.
March 6th.
Of 2024. And will that be back upstairs or?
Yeah.
I like it down here.
I do too.
Nostalgic.
It's cozy, yeah, it is. It kind of brings, well, some good, some bad memories. But yeah, it's a little cozy. Somebody, these guys booked it for a honor
Sorry.
thing, but so after that happened, we talked to the clerk's office a little bit, and they're gonna go through and make sure that, because they know that we meet the first Wednesday of the month, DPW meets, they're just gonna make sure that they just take the calendar and go all the city meetings for the next decade or whatever, so that we don't have but luckily we have a spot. If not, we do it and watch some hockey out at the Marc, or go down to the Agra Pavilion.
It's about time we do that anyway.
Yeah.
We haven't been out there for a couple of years.
This summer, I'd like to do one at the Agra Pavilion.
Mhm.
Oh, that would be nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Any public comment at this time? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a
to adjourn.
second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You're adjourned. Thank you very much.